opposite direction.
Hello, sports fans, and Merry Christmas. Welcome to my Scott Sports 101 Christmas Day podcast, live from the Hoyle House, the home of my sister and brother-in-law, Jenny Eric Hoyle, and my special guest today. I have a couple of guests, my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle, and his cousin, Aaron Hoyle, and my nephew, Jay Hoyle, is here, and
Hollywood.
we're going to talk a little football, NFL, NBA, a little Major League Baseball. I do have a couple of more things I'm going to throw in along the way in the podcast, and we'll get to all of that. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101. We have an NBA trivia question today. I haven't done an NBA trivia yet, but we're going to do one right now. It says, and it is a Cavs one. Who has the highest three-point field goal percentage in Cavaliers franchise history? And I will have the answer later on the podcast. Well, we're going to start off with the Browns, and after a disastrous loss, 24-6 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals last week, the Browns, who now stand at 3-12, and their season is basically over, but they're playing these games for pride, have 2 games left to go in the regular season, and they will get ready to take on the 7-8 Miami Dolphins here at home at Huntington Bank Field. And Browns quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson is battling a calf injury, but if he is healthy, he will get the start. The team remains hopeful for that for this week's game. And
might as well let him finish the
week
season,
17,
right, Scott?
yeah,
See
might
how
as
he's gonna
well
do.
against the
Right? I mean, what do you got to lose? You don't have anything to lose.
because he sustained that injury during the first offensive drive of last Sunday's game against the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 16, but continued to play in the remainder of the game. And Myles Garrett made a history with his 100th career sack. So
And wasn't he one of the youngest people to do it? 29 years old, right?
oh yeah, he was, yes,
Youngest ever to get 100 sacks in that short of a time.
yeah. And Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski said on Monday that Thompson Robinson is healthy and he will be the starter this week against the Dolphins. And
Who's
because
the
he,
backup?
I think it might. I think it might be Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi. I mean,
And he-
obviously we know it's not Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
We know what he does. All he does is throw interceptions.
You won
And the team will start
Exactly.
the status further of Thompson Robinson's progress throughout the week. And Robinson and if he is unable to play, then they are considering who will serve as his backup if that's needed. But both Winston and Bailey are battling injuries right now. And
That's part of DTR's problem.
yeah,
He can't play more than a couple of games without getting
No.
hurt. He's a small guy. He's not a big guy. He's very kind of dainty, and
oh yeah, and they have confidence in all their players, and hopefully we will know Thompson Robinson will start this game this week, and we'll see if the Browns can win this one to move up in the first round of the draft here, which is coming up in 2025.
maybe Baker's available.
Yeah, well,
And Tom's good.
but before we go to anything else, we have had a couple of football games going on today, and Andy Reid, Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, he gave the Chiefs a little Christmas present after the game by getting back into the locker room and putting on his Santa suit because the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-10
Wow.
today at Azteca Stadium in Pittsburgh.
Thanks to Kareem Hunt, former Cleveland
Yes,
Browns, right, Scott?
yes, and
He
he
got a
said
touchdown.
the gift he gave them was for the Chiefs to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And boy, what a game! This game, Chiefs just dominated this game right from the get-go. And I picked the Chiefs to win in this game today. And you'll probably give me your picks this weekend, Derek, but you probably would have picked the Chiefs anyway.
I'll have to consult with Jay. He's my
and
he's my spread technician.
and right now it's in the fourth quarter in Baltimore, and the Ravens are just all over the Houston Texans in NRG Stadium in Houston. Excuse me, 31-2.
Wow.
They have held the Texans to just one safety today. Lamar Jackson has been just so dominant today, and along with Mark Andrews.
It's impressive
this game.
safety, but that's it.
What a difference of a year that Houston had last year
Yes,
compared to this year,
yes.
right, Scott?
Yeah.
They were beating the Browns in the playoffs, and now this year,
Now they're getting whooped
right? It's
themselves.
an average team this year, right?
Yeah. And tomorrow night's Thursday night game will be the Seahawks and the Bears. The Bears, their season is basically over, but Seattle's trying to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, with Geno Smith, right? Isn't Geno
Yeah.
Smith the quarterback?
Yes, it is Geno Smith.
Well, I think it's the 12th man. That's why I think they're winning because it's the 12th man,
I
right?
think you're right.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, they have that extra mojo going on in that weird stadium. It's like
Yeah.
it's like Emerald City out there, right there.
Yeah.
It's
And
like Wizard of Oz.
yes, exactly. I agree with that. And
Ozzy Newsome.
Right.
I will announce the 3 Saturday games tomorrow on my NFL, or actually on my NFL, either on my pregame show for Thursday Night Football or my postgame show for that. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to move on right now to the NBA and the Cavs. And after a big 123-113 win over the Utah Jazz on Monday, the Cavs are have been enjoying a few days off. That includes today, Christmas, but beginning Friday, they're going to hit the road for a 4-game West Coast road trip, and that begins with the Denver Nuggets in
Well,
Denver.
Well, you
And
know what that means, Scott and Eric.
Oh,
Bad news for the Denver Nuggets, brother.
oh yeah,
Right.
that's exactly. And then Monday, December 30th, they will be in Golden State. They will be in Oakland at Oracle Arena to take on the Golden State Warriors. Kenny Atkinson's former assistant coaching job used to be assistant coach with them. And then on New Year's Eve, they will be in LA to take on LeBron James and Bronny James
Boo,
and the Lakers.
boo hiss, boo hiss.
And then finally, they will take on the Dallas Mavericks on Friday, January 3rd, at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, before coming home to face the Charlotte Hornets here at home. And boy, I got to tell you, Kenny Atkinson really knows how to utilize his players
Wow.
on this team.
You are so
He
right.
really
Scott.
does.
You
And
are so right. And you know what? Let's say something else real quick, Scott and Eric. Let's be honest. If Donovan Mitchell had not decided to re-sign his contract with the Cavaliers, none of this would be happening for the Cavaliers right now, right? That is one of the greatest signings in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers, right, guys?
yeah,
It has to be. It has to be. I
And-
thought he was gone for sure, didn't you, Scott?
oh yeah, I thought it was too, but they re-signed him, which was a plus right there. And these last 3-4 games, we have had like 5 or 6 players at max in double figures,
Oh, I know.
and
It's somebody different every night,
and
right?
and Evan Mobley has really stepped it up, dude.
Did you see that thunder dunk he had the other
Yes,
day?
he had.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
that was the dunk of the year.
boy, was that the dunk of the year! And right now, the Cavs still have still in first place in the Eastern Conference, and they still have the best record in the NBA at 26-4 on the season. And
Is that amazing?
yes, and
Would you have ever expected
mostly-
that before the season started? No way. Would I have?
and
They take off those Hawk losses in like
That's right. If they wouldn't have lost to the Hawks, like
yeah, you're right. And hopefully, most likely, we will be in the playoffs, and we'll see. So with 1 month to go till we get to the All-Star break in February, and then we hit the second half of the season, which will go pretty much fast, and we'll see how they do in that second half. And
I mean, and seriously, Scott, real quick, Kenny Atkinson so far, right? Coach of the year in the NBA, right?
I
Hands
very
down,
well could
If they
be.
gave the award right now, Kenny
It
Atkinson.
would be him, but we'll have to see if he gets it. And we'll get to the Guardians and a few other things in just a moment.
Are you ready?
But right now, it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Christmas Day Cavs trivia question. Who has the highest three-point field goal percentage in Cavaliers franchise history? Either one of you want to take a crack at it
Go ahead.
before I
What'd you
reveal?
say?
Danny Ferry.
Okay, I'm going to say world be free.
Well, you're both on the right track, but it happened to be Steve Kerr, who we now know is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors.
Jesus.
Steve Kerr, point guard Steve Kerr has the highest career three-point percentage, 45.4% in NBA history for any player with at least 250 three-pointers made in 1989-1990
Oh,
season.
man, I hate
His
that
first
stat.
season with the Cavs, he set a single-season franchise record, hitting 50.7% of his three-pointers. And I will have another trivia question tomorrow on my Scott Sports 101 Thursday night football pregame show, so stay tuned for that.
Hey, Scott, do you have time for a quick NHL update?
NHL update, Scott?
Oh, yeah,
From,
where is
from
Jay?
Hollywood. We got Hollywood.
Come here, Holly.
All right, hang on, brother.
We got the Rangers
Do it.
beating the Sabres 3-2 with
All right.
three goals
Wow.
from Mika Zibanejad.
Show me your jersey.
All right, yeah, show me your getup, man. Show me stuff. There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Taylor Swift it.
We also got the Flyers beating the Blue Jackets 5-2.
Ooh.
Boo, yeah, boo.
All right. All right.
Maple Leafs
Keep going.
winning 2-1 in overtime, scored by Austin Matthews. And the Penguins losing against the Avalanche
Yeah.
6-2.
Yes.
All right.
Those are my boys right
That's
there.
an NHL update for you. And my nephew Jay plays with the Eastside Tigers Hockey League, and I want to say a
Good job,
couple of
Hunter.
months ago he scored his first 2 goals, and I'm so proud of him for doing that. That was
He's one of the
really,
best players on the team, too.
yeah. And right now, moving on to the Guardians. As you know, the Guardians traded Josh Naylor to the Arizona Diamondbacks for right-handed starting pitcher Slade Sayoni and a draft pick
Guest star Audrey.
in Major League Baseball's compensation round B in 2025. Now, I feel this will be a good prospect. In other words, and then they turned around and signed Carlos Santana for a third tour with Cleveland
Right.
because he was
So,
wanting to come back here. And
I didn't know this real quick though. Did you know that this year I think Carlos Santana played for the Minnesota Twins this past year?
yes,
Did
he
you know that
did.
Did you
He
know that he
did.
won a Gold Glove on FIFA?
Yes, and he
So I'm
deserved
just kind of
that.
surprised to hear that.
But
He's like 38 years old. I
yeah.
mean, he's older, so good for him.
But Naylor's conditioning really broke down in 2024, and he really struggled a lot this past season, and he wasn't able to put up the numbers. And whenever they would need him, he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he had 100 RBIs, he had 30 home runs or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, you're right. Like when you really needed him to do something, he was swinging out of his shoes, swinging out of his helmet, swinging for the first pitch. He was just being lackadaisical and lazy to me in the playoffs. I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
you know what? I'm not going to miss him at all. I'm really not.
And the Guardians had really serious concerns about Naylor's body holding up over a 162 game season, and so I feel this was a good move by the Guardians. I really think it
Absolutely.
was.
You know as well as I do, Scott and Eric. Naylor is going to be ready for some big, huge contract. The Guardians they
Yeah,
got Carlos Santana for 1 year.
yeah,
They
they
can sign
do.
him for
And
5 years. Naylor's going to get some ridiculous 5 year contract by some for 100 and some. The Guardians aren't going to do that. I
no,
don't
no,
blame
they're
him, man.
not.
I don't blame him. He's not that. I don't think he's that great.
And as you know, the Guardians re-signed Shane Bieber.
That's right for 1 year. 14,
Yes,
I think 14 million. I think.
yes,
I
they
mean,
did.
you know what? If that works out, Scott, for this 1 year, that'll be worth $200 million for the
Yes, it
Guardians if he
would.
has a
It
good year
would.
and he's just healthy the whole year. Absolutely. That was a
And
good move.
one more Guardians note. Guardians radio announcer Tom Hamilton was inducted, gentlemen, into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and along with other baseball radio broadcasters and television broadcasters, and he really deserves this honor. He's been one of the best in the business, and Hammy, you really deserve it. So congratulations,
About
Hammy.
time, right?
Yeah.
About time he got that. Absolutely.
And one last thing, and I want a couple of months ago, and I wanted to get your both thoughts on this. A couple of months ago, as you know, we lost the legendary voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, who was the voice of the Browns for 25 years and spent nearly 40 years as the sports anchor and sports director at WKYC Channel 3. And he was one of the best in the business, and he loved being the voice of the Browns. And he just really is going to be missed. And I know it's been a hard Christmas for his family, his wife Cheryl, his daughter Megan.
How about
And
this, real quick, Scott and Eric? Did you happen to see that one phone call that Phil Dawson made to Jimmy
yes,
Donovan because Jimmy
yes,
Donovan didn't realize he was going to get inducted into the Cleveland Browns Hall of Fame? Phil Dawson was going to be inducted, but then Phil Dawson surprised Jimmy Donovan with the phone call. He called him on the phone live and
yeah,
told Jimmy that he was going to be a part of the whole
yes,
induction ceremony.
indeed,
And
yes,
oh my God, Jimmy Donovan was crying during that phone call with Phil
yeah.
Dawson, man. That was one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen.
And with the Browns' victory over the Ravens back in October, Kevin Stefanski personally gave Jim Donovan's wife a game ball,
Yeah, I
which I
remember
thought was
that.
very nice.
Absolutely. That was wonderful.
But he will
Yep.
be missed,
I love
and
him.
still, our thoughts and prayers on this Christmas day go out to his wife Cheryl, his daughter Megan, and our thoughts and prayers are with you still during this difficult time. And I know it's been a hard Christmas Day for both of you. So our thoughts and prayers are with you.
Absolutely, Scotty.
Well, but before I sign off here, let me give you an update on the late game. It's fourth quarter, 5:03 to go, 1st and 15 at the Baltimore 49. The Texans have the ball. It is now at the 2-minute warning, and it's at the Houston 34, 1st and 10. Houston has the ball, 31-2 Houston. So I think Baltimore's got this locked up. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
Scotty and Eric, real quick, let's do our picks real quick. Who you got in the Ohio State Oregon game coming up next weekend?
well, I
do our
think
picks.
Ohio State's going to get this. I think I'm going to go with
All
Ohio
right, it's going to
State.
be close. You think? I think it's going to be close.
I think it will be close, but it won't be too close. Though.
Eric,
But
what
I
do you think, homie?
I'll go Ohio State by 7.
All right, yeah, I'm going to go Ohio State by 3. It's going to be.
I'm going to go Ohio State by 5. I'm going to go right in the middle.
All right. Either way, they're going to win. That's all that
Yeah.
counts.
And I have the Ravens for this late game, and I think you probably would have taken the Ravens for this one, probably most likely. And so,
Well, let's see how the Ravens do. You know how the Ravens
Yeah.
are. They have a good regular season. They make the playoffs all the time. Then
And
what do they do in
then,
the
yeah,
playoffs?
yeah.
They choke in the first round or the second round.
that's
I mean,
that's it. Well, that's just
so do the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, you're right.
Bills do too.
You're
I'm not
right.
picking the Bills to win anything. No way. They choke in the end every time.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this Christmas Day podcast of Scott Sports 101. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. And coming up next week, we're going to be bringing in 2025 and New Year's Day. As you know, it's Bowl Day, and I'll have all the college Bowl Day action for you. And the Ohio State Buckeyes are in the Rose Bowl. They are in it. So
They
they'll
go
be.
Bowling Green in their ball
Yes.
too, and all the
So,
back teams.
But I'll be back tomorrow with the Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football pregame show, the postgame show to follow. And I want to thank my guests, Eric, Aaron, and Jay Hoyle for being on with me. And I'll be back tomorrow. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.